what's tough to watch about this team, and it is a hard team to watch at times, is once Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant are not on the floor and doing their thing, you got nothing. There literally is nothing else past those two guys. Hello and welcome to the Monday, October 31st edition of the TV on Basketball Podcast with your host, TV. Hope you're having an awesome day, an awesome Halloween, and thank you for clicking on to watch or listen to today's episode. Before we start, I do have to plug my other platforms. Remember to follow at TV on Basketball on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for updates on the podcast and for other great content. If you're on YouTube, remember to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That would be highly, highly appreciated. For my podcast listeners, remember to subscribe and leave a review if you're on Apple. And as for Spotify, Anchor, or Podbean listeners, just continue to show your support in any way possible. I see all of you, and I appreciate all the support that you guys give. I have an awesome show lineup for you today. It has been a while since I've recorded an episode. Basically, almost 2 weeks into the season. But we are here. We're going to be recapping a lot of what has been going on over the past 2 weeks. Some topics, yes, there are some noteworthy ones, but I don't want to discuss them on this episode, but I will, maybe mention them as well. But yeah, there's a lot to talk about. Going to be doing a trick-or-treat themed segment here, talking about some teams, whether we should be seeing this as a treat or a trick. We're going to discuss that. And also, we're going to be talking about introducing a new segment, which I'm going to do every week, and then just some of the biggest headlines. So yes, a very jam-packed episode. And I'm not going to keep you guys any further. We're going to get right into it. But again, I just want to thank you guys for all the support. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And we're going to start off with the Halloween theme segment. And I'm going to be calling this Trick or Treat. It has been a pretty crazy NBA season so far. And we're going to be going through each teams and seeing if the start to their season is a trick or a treat. I'm going to be giving you my reasons. Of course, it's going to not maybe be the way that you would go for it, but it's my show. We're going to go for it. And we're going to be just going through these teams, and I'm going to, of course, talk about why I think they're a trick or a treat. Let's get into it. The first team I want to talk about is a team that's currently number one in the West right now. I didn't expect this to happen at this point, but here we are. We're going to be talking about the Portland Trail Blazers. 5-1 in their first 6 games. Damian Lillard is out with injury right now, but he has had a phenomenal start to this season, averaging 31 points a game, 5-5. Right now they're still they're having one of the best, they're top 10 on both offensive and defensive rating. We were asking them to play better on the defensive end. They are doing that. They're playing very well, and of course they're being led by their NBA 75 player and Damian Lillard. Now, what do I think about this team? A trick or a treat? Are they the 5-1 team? Do I think this is going to be carrying on for the remainder of the season? No, but I still will consider them a treat, and here's why. I think what Damian Lillard has really proven to us this year is he is one of those players. I think we have to kind of look at him in the same light as a Luka Doncic, as a Nikola Jokic, maybe not top 5 player in the league. But we have to look at Damian Lillard as one of those players as long as he's healthy and on that team, and of course I'm preferring that he's healthy, they're going to be able to make the playoffs. Damian Lillard is good enough to do so. I mean, I mentioned the stats earlier: 31, 5-5, being the true leader of this team and really trying to get other guys involved. I mean, Anthony Simons started the year great, 21 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Jeremy Grant, smooth transition to the Trailblazers, 16 points a game. You're still getting Nurkic involved. You're getting some good contributions from Josh Hart. And even guys like Shaedon Sharpe and Justice Winslow are playing huge roles off the bench. And they're all being led by Damian Lillard. He's an NBA 75 player for a reason. He's been a top 5 point guard for what feels like almost a decade for a reason. He is that great of an NBA player, and he is a great leader as well. Now, I say that they're a treat. They're 5-1 right now. I still don't really see them going past the first round. I don't. But what I do see in this team right now is that they have the chance to get a top 6 seed. Is it going to be tough? Of course. But as long as Damian Lillard's healthy, which they're not really going to get him back until 2 weeks from now, As long as he's healthy, they're going to have a chance. Even if they're in the play-in, I would not bet against Damian Lillard. That's how great of a player he is. And I think that the Blazers, sure, maybe not as talented as most years. Yes, they're still trying to figure out the new coach in Chauncey Billups. But you have a team built around Damian Lillard, and it's working well. And you have solid number 2 and 3 options. I mean, Jeremy Grant is no scrub. Anthony Simons signed that 4-year, $100 million deal. People were wondering, is he going to, fit into the number 2 role? He's doing pretty well so far. And I trust that this Blazers team, I'm not going to say I was higher than them than most people, but I wanted you to be weary of doubting Damian Lillard, because when people start to doubt him, that's when he performs at his best, and he's doing so far this season. So far for me, the Blazers are a treat. They're not number 1 seed type treat, but they are going to be a playoff team. I truly believe that. And I just can't wait to see how they do the rest of the season. Can't wait to see more of Anthony Simons, and hopefully Damian Lillard comes back, because this guy is must-watch TV. These next teams I want to talk about is going to be quick combined, because I think I can talk about these two teams under the same umbrella. We're going to be talking about the San Antonio Spurs / the Utah Jazz, both teams who are 5-2 right now. The San Antonio Spurs, as of recording today, which is Sunday, October 30th, at night, they beat the Minnesota Timberwolves today, and they're 5-2. They're 5-2, and the Utah Jazz are too. No pun intended, but let's be honest, no one saw this coming to start the season. No one did. You have two teams who looked like they were going to be. I mean, I put them in the brick for Vic tier in my preseason predictions, but they're doing extremely well to start the season, and they are among the West elite right now, even after only 2 weeks of action. Let's start with the Utah Jazz first, because what's really impressed me about them this year is their ability to move the ball. I mean, they're not crazy on the offensive end. They're maybe just crack the top 20, 11th in the defensive end, but they're passing 4th in the league, averaging almost 30 assists a game. The steals are there. The solid three-point percentage, making the 3rd most threes in the league. Everything is just working out. And the thing is, it's there's no star player on this team, but you have a bunch of professionals, whether it's Lauri Markkanen, Jordan Clarkson, Kelly Olynyk, Sexton, Conley, Vanderbilt, Rudy Gay, Taylor Horton-Tucker. These guys who have been in the league for a while. These are not just some spring chickens that have, some rookies that's taking the league by storm. No, it isn't. It's just a collective unit of guys that know, and I'm not going to say how to play together, but know their role and are excelling at that role in a huge way. Especially someone like Lauri Markkanen. I mean, top 10 pick in, a few years back. Now he's becoming the player that we thought he was going to be, not a superstar type player, but someone who can give you a 20 points, 8-9 rebounds a game, and be able to stretch it forward. Maybe not so great so far to start the year, especially at 27%, but someone who's going to be able to get buckets, get them quickly. He's been able to do so. And that and the rest of the guys, again, just sharing the ball, knowing each other's roles, and just getting and hitting shots in right positions. That's what's making the Utah Jazz so good. And, they're trying to tank, but you can't tell professional basketball players, especially people who are competing at the highest level, to play bad purposely. That's just not going to happen. So the Jazz are playing extremely well to start the year. Same thing with the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, Pop was do not put any money on us to win a championship. You probably still shouldn't, but man, this team has been good to watch this season. Not a great defensive team, bottom 5 in the league in that, but they are the 9th best offense in the league, which, again, looking at this roster, led by Keldon Johnson, you would not expect that to happen this far into the season, but that's been happening. And again, another theme with them and the Jazz is that they're just able to share the ball, because it's just not one guy. There's not one superstar. It's not like when you look in the Orlando Magic, for example. Yeah, it's kind of the same situation where the talent is not there, but they have the clear-cut number 1 guy, the guy that they want to be the superstar for the team, and Paolo Banchero. But with the Jazz and the Spurs, they haven't got their number 1 guy yet. They have no idea where this is going to go. So they're playing carefree, they're playing without any pressure, and it's leading to W's right now. And the Spurs team has been solid so far this season. I mean, I say there's no number 1 guy, but Keldon Johnson, solid start this season. 24 points a game, 5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 42% from 3, 44% from the field. looking like a steal of a contract for sure. Then you have other guys, right behind him. 20 points a game from Devin Vassell, 16 and 11 from Jakob Poeltl, 13, almost 14 a game from Trey Jones. Blake Wesley, the rookie, 10 points a game, almost 10 a game from Deck McDermott, 8 points for Sohan, and Zach Collins. A lot of guys just contributing on that team. And that, again, I mean, this sounds it sounds really stupid, but you need to just score more points than others, and they have a bunch of guys that can just put the ball in the basket, and it's working out for them. Now, I know I talked about them a lot. Are they a trick or a treat? Don't overthink this, guys. It's a trick. They're not going to be in the playoff picture by the end of the year. If anything, this is like an audition. It's an audition for the rest of the league. I mean, these guys have an eye towards the future. Yes, they're winning right now, but what does this showing teams who feel like they're a piece away, who think that they need a trade to kind of, maybe that key role player, just to give them that extra push in order for a chance at the title? On the Spurs side of things, Jakob Poeltl's there. He could be a good get for a team. A Josh Richardson, a Zach Collins. These guys are up for grabs. And teams, a second-round pick, a couple second-round picks, you can get them, and they could be a solid part of your playoff/championship rotation. It is a true possibility. On the Jazz side of things, I mean, let's be honest, they are not done with their clear out. They still have to trade Conley, Rudy Gay if he has any value, Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson as well. These guys are all available. Lakers. These are guys that can definitely help out a contending type team. Of course, they're not going to put up the same production as they're doing right now, but the fact that they can still do this and it leads to wins, it's a great audition for the other teams. These teams are not looking to be good. They're really not. This is why it's a trick. They don't want this to be like the end result for them, because let's be honest, when it comes to the playoffs, it's going to be a whole different monster. They have no chance against more than half of the West, but they're good so far. And again, this is just doing wonders for their veterans who they're looking to trade. Jazz, more than likely them, because they still, there's a clear guys you have to give up in Conley and Clarkson. But the Spurs, do you think you can get a good package for Jakob Poeltl? Yeah, accept it. You think you can get a good package for a Josh Richardson? Yeah, accept it. I mean, Josh Richardson probably more than Poeltl, but you know how it goes. It's a trick. They're not going to be there by the end of the year. But man, putting up a fight, a lot of upsets so far to start the season. They've been fun to watch. 76ers we're going to talk about next. We're going to be moving over to the East. And so far this year, not looking great. They're 3-4 right now, but it has been getting better. It was like a really, really rough start to start the year, but now wins against the Raptors and the Bulls in back-to-back games, really, really good. And what has been really impressive to me, especially after bouncing back from such a horrid start, is that there are three guys in Harden, Maxey, and Embiid. When you need them to, they're going to be able to deliver. Harden in the early parts of the season played like his old Harden self. Maybe it wasn't best for the team, but we know that they still have it in him. Tyrese Maxey, none of those other 76ers were really going off for them, but he scored 44 points against the Toronto Raptors, and man, he absolutely killed us and was able to get the win. And then against this win against the Chicago Bulls, Embiid playing closer to his MVP self. Yes, he was injured for the Raptor game, but he's back. And then the other guys just followed suit. They're able to pull out the win. And they're slowly but surely just reminding us, look, yeah, we had a slow start to the season, but they are contenders in the East at the end of the day. They really are. The depth of this team, the star power in both Harden and Embiid, and then a very reliable coach in Doc Rivers. This is a recipe for a contending team. I think this is a trick. They're not as bad as their 3-4 record sound. I still think they're a contender in the East. And they're a playoff lock. If this bad stuff, continued to happen, I may have, changed my tune a little bit. Especially because if they were going to continue to do bad, I mean, who knows what's going to happen to Doc Rivers' job at that point. But Embiid and Harden, these two guys are just too good to not be, a top 6 team in the East. Plus, when you have a deep bench like the 76ers have, and the ability to play on both ends of the floor, they'll get better. I mean, they have 18th in defensive rating. They should get higher. They should finish as a top 10 offense for sure, especially with Embiid and Harden hopefully trying to learn to play with each other soon. But this is a trick. They are a very good team. They are not a 3 and 4 level type team. It's going to be the start of something big here for Philly, and I think it's going to be starting very, very soon. The Miami Heat, we're going to be talking about next. They have started off the season 2-5. Heat culture not showing out right now, but many of you may be surprised with this. I'm going to consider this a treat. Yeah, maybe not 2-5 bad, but in terms of them, especially if you listen to just an episode which I was on a couple weeks ago, they were talking about how the Heat are still, they have the system, they have the guys that have been there for a while, they should still be a title contender. What this proved to me and why I consider this start to be a treat is they're not a contender. They are a step below even the second tier of Eastern Conference teams. I just don't think this year that the Heat have enough to compete with the rest of the guys. I mean, I've already talked about in the past how Milwaukee and Boston are at the top. And then when you drop below them, you have the 76ers. I would throw in the Cleveland Cavaliers in there. I would throw in the potentially the Atlanta Hawks, potentially the Toronto Raptors. I don't think this Heat team, maybe they're at the bottom part of that group, but I just don't think they're like top 4, top 5. This looks like a first round exit team to me in the East, just because of how good the East has been right now. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks to me. Bam is not assertive enough. Tyler Hero, yes, they need his offense in the starting lineup, but that means their bench has depleted massively. And then their guy that they signed to a $3 or $85 million deal in Kyle Lowry, it's not looking great. It's not looking great to start the season. And I love Kyle. Absolutely love the guy. I'm wearing his shirt right now, actually, which I just realized. But he's not having a great start. He's not having a good start to the season. He's definitely not been worth the 20-something million that they're paying him annually for the team. But this team is still good. They still got the Heat culture. I still think they're going to finish with a solid record. But when it comes especially to this Miami Heat team and the gravitas around them, Heat culture, Jimmy Butler, when it matters the most, he's going to be able to turn it on and take the team to the finals like he did in the bubble. I don't think it's going to be that easy, especially with this loaded East. I really don't. You have that. You're still waiting for, Bam to take the next step. And look, if he doesn't take the next step, I'm not saying he's a bad player, but some people were hoping that he was going to be a potential top 3 center, and I just don't see it. But you have that to worry about. And then you also have to, think about the fact that you have no more PJ Tucker, and you haven't seen Oladipo in a while. I mean, I don't think he hasn't played a game this season. That's another big question mark. And like I mentioned earlier, especially in my early episodes, there's just so many question marks with this Miami Heat team, especially on the injury front. We know that Jimmy Butler has had his issues. Bam Adebayo has missed, especially last season, he missed a couple months. And then Victor Oladipo has not even stepped on a basketball court this season. Just a lot of question marks. I just consider this like starter tree just because I just don't think they're part of that upper echelon like they used to be. It's a new era. Teams, the best way to put it is that teams got better around you and they didn't make any moves to catch up with them. So that means they're falling behind. This is why it's a treat. Last but not least, we're going to talk about the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets. They have the worst record in the East right now, 1-5. And after this loss to the Indiana Pacers of all teams, they had to call a players-only meeting. What's tough to watch about this team, and it is a hard team to watch at times, is once Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant are not on the floor and doing their thing, you got nothing. There literally is nothing else past those two guys. Like on the season, they're averaging a combined 63.5 points per game between your two superstar players. That should be enough. But then the drop off from there. Their second leading scorer, I don't think you're going to guess this, Nick Claxton. And after that, David Duke. After that, Royce O'Neal, Patty Mills, Joe Harris, who has had a slow start to the season, but again, has to do with injury. And Ben Simmons. 6, 7, and 6 from your third All-Star, your potential Defensive Player of the Year candidate. He has just not lived up to it. He just hasn't. And they're paying him a crap ton of money to not just, be hesitant going to the basket, not showing that, uber athleticism that we saw before the injury. They need more from him. And yes, he is like this is like the fifth we're like 7 games into the season. Yes, I think it'll get better for Ben Simmons. But what he's showing me so far is I just don't think he can get back to that level. And I was hoping he would. I really did. His his hate for him, like especially with his shooting, like I didn't say it would get in my nerves, but at the same time, was unwarranted. Was unwarranted because he's just so good at other aspects of the game. And now he hasn't really like showing that out as he did before. And it's just been really, really tough to start the season for Ben Simmons. And like I mentioned, you're going to get what you get from KD. You're going to get what you get from Kyrie. They are not the issue here. It's the rest that concerns me. And not the only thing that concern me, their defense is just horrendous. 30th in the league in defensive rating. Top half in the league in offensive rating, but that's literally just carried by KD and Kyrie. They are just not good enough outside of those guys. And what we've seen from teams this season, in order to succeed, you need to have a complete roster. And when you look at the teams that do not have a complete roster, and some just star players trying to drag this team out of a hole, it's not working out for them. Lakers, Nets. I'm going to talk about the Lakers a bit later, but yeah, the Nets. I don't see this changing that much going into the future. I don't know. I'm going to say this a treat. No, they're not going to be bottom of the East bad, but I think they're a playing team. And this is something I had my sentiments about before the season. I just think there's just too many combustible parts there and just too many factors in there that can lead to an explosion. And I just don't know if KD and Kyrie are going to be good enough to go and move past that. Are they even fully committed to the team? I mean, it looks like they're trying. They're trying to get this players only meeting. They're trying to turn things around. But it feels like no one is bought into the Steve Nash system. They do not have a respectable voice on that bench when it feels like compared to the veterans or even just the players on their team. They need to make some moves. Whether that's Ben Simmons or not, I'm not sure. But they need to make some moves. They need to change something up in there. Now, they're also missing players like Seth and TJ Warren. But you don't expect the Kyrie and KD-led team go 1-5 in their first 6 games. You just don't. But I think even when they do come back, I just think there's just too many question marks with this Nets team. And I haven't trusted it since the beginning of the season. I'm not going to start trusting it now. They have no reason to lead me to believe that. It's a treat. It's a treat. It's a tough team to watch. It really is. KD and Kyrie, they're phenomenal. Past that, it's looking rough. And that's why it's a treat. And I don't think it's going to be that good that's not going to be that good moving forward. But guys, let me know down below what you guys think. Was I too hard on some of them? Was it a trick or treat by your standards? Let me know down below. I'm going to be introducing another new segment here, but this time, this one's going to be a weekly segment. I'm going to be calling this the Raptors bet. And for this one, just because it's my team, the Toronto Raptors, I feel like I want to just talk about how their season progresses throughout the year. And I like to look back at this type of stuff and see kind of what storylines, what kind of opinions that myself as a Raptor fan have throughout the season. And this is my way of documenting it. So yeah, for this maybe small period of time, I'm going to just be talking about the Raptors, and I'm going to start doing that every single week. No time limit, but trust me, I'm going to keep this short every single week. Let's get into it. Raptors so far this season. Not a bad start, going 3-3. And, some people might think, especially because I'm a Raptor fan, I would expect better. I was hoping to be better than this, but I can't blame them. The start of the season has been so tough for these Toronto Raptors, and it feels like it's not going to stop anytime soon. Well, it's going to stop after Halloween. But so far this season, the Raptors have had to face the Celtics, the Cavs, the Nets, the Heat twice, and the 76ers twice. Yeah, that's why they're 3-3. It has been a tough schedule for the Raptors so far. And to be honest, it's been, even in the 3 losses, I've still been very, very impressed with the team. Besides the Tyrese Maxey 44-point performance, besides that, it's all been close games. We lost to the Nets by 4. We lost to the Miami Heat by 3. And then we've won some close games against the Cavs and the Celtics. And we also had a pretty convincing win against the 76ers as well. I'm very happy with the team so far this season. Seeing people like Pascal Siakam even take a next step to his game, which I didn't think he was able to, is just music to my ears. I love to see that. Gary Trent Jr. just being the spot up guy, being the reliable 3-point shooter. Love to see what he loving what I'm seeing from him so far, averaging 20, basically 20 points a game, our second leading scorer. Barnes, solid player. He's been really, really good this year. Starting to attempt more threes, which is great. We'd love to see him more aggressive on the offensive end, though, but he needs to stay out of foul trouble. OG has been good to start off the season. Freddie VanVleet, maybe not the numbers you're expecting, but he has been solid as well to start the season. And slowly but surely, the Raptors' wrench is starting to come back. Can Burks return from injury first? Then it was Chris Boucher. Slowly but surely, it's going to start coming back even more. We're still waiting for Otto Porter as well, and I think that the Raptors, once they start to get the hang of each other, and once the schedule starts getting a bit easier, especially after Halloween, we got I think one of them was the Spurs coming up next. Yep, the Bulls might be there, but then after we have the Rockets, Thunder, Pacers, Pistons. It's gonna be a bit easier in the month of November, but so far the season, even at 3-3, I'm not too mad. I'm not too mad to start. I just wish there was better, half-court offense, which I thought it wasn't really addressed this offseason. But I think that, again, they'll come better with time. And now that we have Siakam playing at an MVP level caliber, which I will talk about him even more later on this podcast, I'm very happy with it, and I just can't wait to see what they're able to do this upcoming season. Even with 3-3, I'm still confident they're going to be a top 6 seed in the East. I think they're going to be really, really good. I just can't wait to see what they have in store. And hopefully Nick Nurse, we get to see more of those crazy Nick Nurse lineups, because this guy's a, what would you call it? It feels like a crazy scientist, but he's really, really good, and he's proven time and time again. Part of the we trust him aside thing, Nick Nurse is part of that, 100%. Moving on to the next topic, and I mentioned them a little bit in the trick or treat section, but I want to have their own topic alone. We got to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers. And currently, right now, actually, they are beating the Denver Nuggets 93-85 at the end of the third quarter. Now, knowing the Lakers, that is possibly going to go away. But so far, they are 0-5. 0-5 to start off the season. First time in a long time. And they're the only team in the league right now who is winless. This team, besides LeBron AD, that's their 1-2. If you have a 1-2 with LeBron and AD, that feels like it's good. But past that, might be one of the worst rosters in the league. Russell Westbrook, horrible start to the season. Patrick Beverley, trying to give you something, but it's not working. Then you have players like Troy Brown trying to get massive minutes. Austin Reeves, Matt Ryan, Juan Toscano Anderson. If you're looking to be a contender, these guys cannot be playing that many significant minutes. But that's what the Lakers have to work with, because they do not have a good supporting cast, if not one of the worst in professional basketball. In the NBA, I said professional basketball. In the NBA, it just hasn't been a great start. Usually LeBron teams like to shoot. They're shooting a lot. The problem is they're not dropping. They're one of the worst shooting things. They are the worst 3-point shooting team in the league. 30th in percentage, 38th in field goals made per game. Number 30 in full field goal percentage. They have a very good defense, second best defense in the league, but 30th offense. If you're defending well, sure. You just can't. The offense is just not there. LeBron and AD are doing their best when they're on the court. Well, LeBron has been on the court. AD hasn't. But the other guys are just not good enough. And you just got to think, if you're Rob Pelinka, a move has to be made soon, right? And look, I'm not going to say that Westbrook is the biggest reason for it. In my opinion, he isn't, even though he is part of the reason. Get him out of there. It's not even him being part of the Lakers. I want him to do well. He just looks like he's not with it right now. The passion that we've seen Russell Westbrook year in, year out has not been there. He's having a solid game, probably his best game of the season against the Nuggets right now. But I just don't see the same Russell Westbrook. And he hasn't been the same Russell Westbrook the last few years. Maybe moving to the bench will help him, but at the same time, I just don't think that with the contract he has right now, and you have a couple draft picks to trade, trying to see if that Turner trade is available, that Turner-Hill trade. See if Conley and Clarkson are available. Pirtle, Josh Richardson, those type of guys. You just need legitimate NBA rotational players. And all those options are guys that can slot into the starting lineup or come off the bench and actually give you real good minutes. Whether it's shooting, whether it's the interior presence, any of that. They just need something to change. And again, I think it starts with Westbrook just because it just feels like it's just been a mess all year with him. He doesn't feel like he wants to be there. But I just think that a lot needs to change with the Lakers right now. If they even want a chance. Do they still want to do this? Rob Pelinka has been holding on to those 27, 2029 picks all summer long. Something has to change now. They've re-signed LeBron to a long term. This is the same thing when he was happening with the Heat. Same thing is happening with the Cavs back in the day. When you're with LeBron, you work on LeBron's schedule. That 2027, 2029 pick in the future, sure, you don't want to give that up. But when you have LeBron that team, you have to compete now. And clearly this roster is nowhere near to be competing. Hopefully they get their first one here. It looks like they're in prime position too. But again, the Nuggets are a very good team. We just have to see more. And we need to see Rob Pelinka just do something. We need to do something. Because this Lakers team, if this is the team that we see by trade deadline and nothing has changed, you're just doing your fans and the organization a disservice. You really are. The Lakers just need to have something change very, very soon. Next topic I want to discuss is just to talk about. Honestly, I'm just gonna be here and I'm just gonna be basically praising the talent we have in the league right now, because I named this MVP. The MVP candidacy or the MVP ladder is wild right now, and there's no other way to put it. It is it's just absolutely crazy how many players are just having phenomenal seasons to start off with. When you look at the normal guys that you feel like should be in the conversation, Giannis, Jokic, Curry, Luka Doncic, all those guys putting up their numbers. But the thing is, we know that there is going to happen. We knew that you guys were going to be discussing the race. But now you got more people coming into the mix, and they're even taking the next step forward. Firstly, John Morant. John Morant is yes, he's injured right now, but they are one of the best teams in the West, and John Morant is putting up 32 and a half, 7 and 4.5. That's nuts. That is absolutely nuts. Those are MVP level numbers. Jason Tatum, yes, the Celtics, one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference once again. 32, 3 and 8, 56% from the field, almost 40% from three, almost 90% from the line. Tatum's insane. Devin Booker. Yeah, the Phoenix Suns, all that drama that people were talking about, no, it's not happening so far this year. And Devin Booker, 35.5, 3.5, 50, 40, 89. Nuts numbers. I talked about Damian Lillard earlier. He was averaging 32 points a game on a very good Blazers team to start off the season. He should be in talks. And Pascal Siakam, I even mentioned earlier. I didn't even mention his stats. He's basically averaging 26, 8, and 8. Being the number one guy for the Raptors, he should have some MVP love. And if I had to pick a MVP after almost 2 weeks of basketball, I'm gonna give it to Giannis. I'm not afraid to say that. I'm gonna give it to Giannis. He has just been absolutely insane. It just feels like nothing in this world is gonna stop him. But at the end of the day, I think seeing all these guys do well, seeing kind of I'm not gonna say parity, but the fact that you can't predict, it's just extremely hard to predict who's gonna win, each and every night, is a great place for the NBA to be at. It really is. And seeing just the amount of MVP caliber players that we have, or the amount of people that can be considered for this award, just shows me that the league is gonna be in a good place. A lot of these guys are super young or just about to enter their prime. We're good. We're really, really good. And I think that, yes, I think the standings are going to start to fill out the way we think it's going to be down the line. But at the end of the day, it's just good to see the amount of top talent being in these conversations. And I can't wait to see if they're going to be able to stay there. I mean, yeah, sure, we're going to think that Giannis, Jokic, Curry, Doncic might stay in the race. But maybe John Morant goes into a quick third. Maybe Siakam does. Tatum, Booker, Lillard. If I missed anyone else, let me know down below. But man, we have some talented players in our league. and they're coming from all aspects, small markets, big markets. It's just lots of different stars, and we're not even like at the point where we can even discuss Joel Embiid yet. We haven't even reached the part where we can potentially, spew out a claim for Zion Williamson, maybe if he can stay healthy. But man, there's just so much like great players in the league, and the fact that these guys are just putting up MVP level numbers this far into this, like and leading them to wins. Really, really good. I just can't wait to see more of this NBA basketball, because usually I feel like people are off to slow starts. Not this year. It really doesn't feel like it. And I'm just excited to see like what more they're going to be able to do moving forward. Again, I think that Giannis is the clear number one so far after 2 weeks. But with the way the other guys are playing, this feels like it's going to be a hot potato every single week to see who's going to be holding on to that MVP trophy. And to see who they have at the end of the season might not even be a surprise, but at the same time, we have some guys here that could definitely take the jump to that next level. Speaking of young guys, and speaking of, I should not have transitioned with that, but speaking of the younger talent in the league, I want to talk about the rookies, because not only are the MVP race is tight right now, I'm not gonna say the rookie race is tight as well, but man, there's just two guys here who are kind of feel like a level above the rest. But besides that, there are just some solid players in this draft. Let's start with the solid players. I mean, we have of course the top two guys, but then people who had their moments so far this year. Jalen Duren with the Detroit Pistons, 8 points a game. I think like in his first game he had a double, which is great. Sohan for the Spurs, they inserted him to the starting lineup. It feels like they want him to be in that lineup long term. I mean, he's been a bright spot because the Spurs so far this year, yeah, they've been getting wins, but let's not talk about Josh Primo. Tari Eason with the Houston Rockets, a lot of people were a big fan of him coming into the season. He's looked solid. And then, of course, I have to shout out my guy, Christian Koloko. Only 2 points a game, but man, the Raptors have been missing his center, an athletic big that can just be a great rim protector. He's showing out this year so far. And even without these two guys I'm talking about, I mean, even some of the top picks like a Jaden Ivey, Jabari Smith, Keegan Murray, all have been great to start off the year. I mean, maybe not great. I mean, Jabari Smith, 13 points a game, very low shooting percentages, but I think that he's going to be able to turn that around soon. Keegan Murray, 18 points a game. He had to deal with some injury at the beginning of the season, but now he's back to playing very good minutes. And then Jaden Ivey, beside Cade Cunningham in that backcourt, is looking really, really good. Excited to see what he's going to be able to do forward, because when you have him, Cade, Sadiq Bey, Bojan Bogdanovic, hopefully Jaren Duren to be part of that starting lineup in the future, but they still have Isaiah Stewart, who is solid. It's a nice young team, and they're very, very fun to watch, and Jaden Ivey is a massive part of that. And now we get to the top two guys, because yes, those guys have been great, and I think this is going to be a very, very solid draft class. People are only talking about two guys here, and we got Paolo Banchero, we have Benedict Mathurin. I want to talk about Banchero first because he was the number one overall pick, but this guy is just like I talked about how before the season, he has the perfect case to win Rookie of the Year, because not only is he the number one pick, not only is he on a bad team, they want him to be the number one option. They're going to give him all the opportunities in the world. And he has them, and he's taking full advantage of them, averaging 33 minutes a game, 23.5 points, 4 assists, 8 rebounds, 46% from the field. And not only is he like putting up really good stats, he is scoring on 3 different levels. He's aggressive. He has a nice handle. He has a nice pull-up game, especially in the mid-range. Paolo Banchero is going to be an absolute star in this league, a superstar player. And the Magic fans, yes, you're losing, but you got to be excited with the fact that, 1, you could still have a chance for Vic, and 2, you have a potential number 1 guy here in Paolo Banchero. I am very excited to see how he's going to be able to do. And I'm glad I have League Pass this year, because if there's not going to be a lot of nationally televised Magic games, but if I want to see Paolo Banchero do his thing, I can just pull it up on the NBA app and just watch him do his job, do his work. He does not look like a rookie, and he feels just super comfortable in his role already. I'm excited to see what he's going to do the rest of the season. Is he going to keep up 23.5 points per game? Probably not. But at the same time, I'm just excited to see what he's going to be able to do going forward. Last but not least, I gotta throw in a Canadian here. I'm going to throw on my Canadian t-shirt. I'm going to be repping the Raptors, but this guy, he's one of us, part of the North, Benedict Mathurin out of Quebec. I mean, Benedict Mathurin so far this year has been absolutely fantastic for the Indiana Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton, yes, he's doing his thing. He's continuing to kill it, even though, the Pacers probably still want to be bad. But man, Benedict Mathurin, so far this season, 21 points a game, 45% from the field, 43% from three, 88% at the line, 5 rebounds a game. I mean, this guy was talking about before the season how he's better than LeBron James. People were thinking this is just overconfidence from a rookie. Now, I'm not saying he is proving it on the court, but man, he's backing up his talk. He said that he's going to be an absolute stud in this league. What he meant, what he was basically telling us when he said he was better than LeBron, is that, man, I'm going to come into this court and just dominate and just be an absolute stud. And when we look at it that way, I mean, he's not lying. Coming off the bench in every single one of these games as well. Only averaging 27 minutes a game. Imagine if that ticks up to 32, 33. Then we're going to see these numbers go up to like 24 points a game. This guy's just an absolute bucket on 3 levels. His defense needs work. It definitely does need work. But man, the Pacers need some buckets on that team. Benedict Mathurin can get through that. Tyrese Halliburton, again, he's having a fantastic season. But you can tell that he wants to be the point guard. He wants to be the point guard for the team. He is a natural playmaker as well. Halliburton averaging 23 and 10. He's been great. But then when you have him with a backcourt man like Benedict Mathurin who can take pressure off the ball, someone who can get his own shot, it's just such a valuable thing to have on this team. And yes, they're going to lose some games. Right now, I think the Pacers are 3-4. Not a bad start this year. But they're going to be near one of the worst teams in the league after this year, especially if they do trade Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. But as long as these guys can build that rapport together, build that chemistry, and understand where each need to be in order to succeed, this Pacer team, potentially pair with a Wembanyama, I don't know. But I think that the Pacers have something good going there. And if they start losing games, I don't think Pacer fans would mind. They want a chance at Wembanyama. And they could still be entertained by the fact that they have a very exciting young backcourt who could be able to carry this team for the next, 5 to 10 years. I'm excited to see what the Pacers are going to have to do. Again, same thing with Paolo. I feel like Benedict Mathurin is going to be one of those guys where, the Pacers are not going to have a lot of nationally televised games. But if he's going off, and I know that he's going off, I want to be in the middle of that. I want to be seeing that through because I have League Pass. I think that I'm going to be able to watch that. And I'm going to be able to just see his development through the season. And I'm excited to see where he goes from here. He's going to continue to do his. He's going to continue to, talk his talk. But as long as he's going to be backing up, you can't blame him. You 100% can't blame him. But yeah, those are the rest of the topics from the show. Let me know what you guys think about the Lakers, the MVP candidates, the rookies, or even the new Raptors minute or the Raptor talk segment of the show. Let me know down below what you guys think. But I think this is where we're going to today's episode. Thank you guys for watching or listening. Again, hopefully you enjoy you guys' Halloween. Remember to show love on all the podcast channels. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell on YouTube. And remember to follow at TV on Basketball on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for awesome content and the updates on the podcast. I should be back next week. I'm not going to give you a date. I'm going to try to still do once a week. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, just be on the lookout for more TikTok content. I'm going to try my best to get those every day, and I'm going to continue to do my thing as to my abilities. I mean, I'm still a full-time student. I'm still trying to navigate my way through my final year of uni, but I'm going to still have time for the pod. I love watching basketball, talking about basketball, and this platform is always the place where you're going to hear that from me. And so just continue to join me on this to be with me on this journey. Again, just thank you guys for all the support. Even though I'm not as active, thank you guys for the people who are still trying to listen to it. I really do appreciate all of you. But yeah, thank you guys for all the support. Hope you all have a fantastic Halloween. Have a fantastic week. Take it easy, guys. TV signing out. Peace.